Have you ever looked back at your relationships and thought, why do I keep doing this to myself? Maybe you've noticed a pattern. You're drawn to people who are inconsistent. Hot one day, cold the next. And somehow, the stable, kind person who actually shows up for you, they feel boring. Here's what no one tells you. This isn't about poor judgment. It's not about being broken. It's about how your brain is literally wired. I'm here at Peaceful Mind Project, and today we're diving into the neuroscience behind toxic attraction. Because once you understand what's happening in your brain, you can finally start to break the cycle. And trust me, this might explain so much about your relationship history. Section 1. The dopamine myth. Okay, so let's talk about dopamine. You've probably heard people say things like, "Oh, that gave me a dopamine hit." Like it's this instant happiness chemical, right? But here's the thing. That's not actually how dopamine works. Dopamine isn't about pleasure. It's about wanting. It's about anticipation. It's that feeling of, I need to know what happens next. Think about it like this. Dopamine doesn't spike when you get what you want. It spikes when you're chasing what you want. Let me give you a real-world example. Imagine you're waiting for a text from someone you like. Will they text back? What will they say? Do they still care? That uncertainty? That's dopamine flooding your system. Your brain is obsessed with solving the mystery. But the moment they text back, the dopamine drops. The chase is over. Now compare that to someone who always texts back. Someone consistent and reliable. And your brain already knows what's going to happen. There's no mystery. And without mystery, less dopamine. And here's where it gets wild. Your brain mistakes high dopamine for this is the right person. But really, it's just addiction to the chase. Take a second and think about your last relationship. Was the excitement in the stability or in the uncertainty? Drop a thought bubble in the comments if this is hitting a little too close to home. Section 2. Your brain on toxic love. So here's what's actually happening in your brain when you're in a toxic or unstable relationship. Your brain is treating it like a slot machine. Stay with me here. Every time you check your phone, every time you wonder, are they going to show up for me today? Which version of them am I going to get? Your brain is pulling that lever, hoping for a win. And just like a slot machine, the unpredictability is what keeps you hooked. When they're amazing, dopamine jackpot. When they're cold or distant, dopamine crash, which makes you crave the high even more. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's one of the most addictive patterns your brain can experience. Meanwhile, a healthy, stable relationship? That gives you different chemicals, oxytocin and serotonin. These are the bonding chemicals, the ones that build trust, safety, and long-term contentment. But because your dopamine system is trained to crave intensity, those stable relationships can feel flat, boring, like there's no spark. But here's the truth. It's not that there's no spark. It's that your brain is confusing intensity with connection. And I want you to really hear this. Because it's so important. Your brain isn't addicted to the person. It's addicted to the pattern. Let that sink in for a second. Section 3. The 3 patterns that trap you. All right, let's break down the 3 major patterns that keep us stuck in these toxic cycles. I want you to see if any of these feel familiar. Pattern number 1. Intermittent reinforcement. This is when someone is incredible one day and distant the next. Amazing on Tuesday. Ghost you by Friday. Your brain says, if I just wait a little longer, if I try a little harder, the good version will come back. And every time that prediction comes true, even just once, the pattern gets stronger. It's like training your brain that chaos equals love. Pattern number 2. The near-miss effect. This one hurts. It's when you think, we almost had a great weekend, but that conversation was almost what I needed. Near wins activate dopamine more than actual wins. Your brain interprets it as, I'm so close to getting what I want. So you stay. Not because of who they are, but because of who they almost were last Tuesday. You're in love with their potential, not their reality. Pattern number 3. Investment escalation. The more time, energy, and emotion you pour into something, the more your brain wants to justify it. Your dopamine system says, you've already put in this much. The payoff has to be coming. This is why it gets harder to leave the longer you stay. You're experiencing the neurological version of sunk cost fallacy. Your brain doesn't want to accept that all that effort might never pay off. Okay, real talk. Which of these 3 patterns resonates most with you? Drop a 1, 2, or 3 in the comments. No judgment here. We're all learning together. Section 4. Why chaos feels like home. Now, here's something we need to talk about. If chaos felt like love in your early life, your brain learned to associate unpredictability with connection. Maybe your caregivers were inconsistent. Maybe affection was conditional or hard to predict. Maybe you had to work really hard just to feel seen. And listen, this is not a character flaw. This is conditioning. Your reward system was calibrated to expect drama as normal. And that calibration? It's still running in the background, influencing who feels exciting and who feels boring. There's also something called the tolerance effect. Over time, you need more inconsistency, more drama, to get the same dopamine hit. See, healthy stability starts feeling boring. Not because it is boring, but because your system has been conditioned to expect chaos. And that's neurological adaptation. It's not that you don't want a healthy relationship, it's that your brain doesn't register it as rewarding anymore. But here's the good news. Patterns can be unlearned. Section 5. The 5 signs you're in the dopamine trap. Let me walk you through 5 signs that you're caught in this cycle. And no judgment. These are brain patterns, not personal failures. Sign number 1. The chase is better than the catch. The texting, the wondering, the hoping feels more intense than actually being together. The fantasy of who they could be is more compelling than who they actually are. Sign number 2. You rationalize red flags as depth. You tell yourself, yes, they're emotionally unavailable because they've been hurt. Or, the hot and cold thing just means they're struggling with feelings. You spend more time analyzing their behavior than actually experiencing connection. Sign number 3. Stable people feel boring. When someone is consistent and available, you lose interest. You interpret lack of drama as lack of chemistry. You might even create problems just to feel something. Sign number 4. You feel anxious when things are going well. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Good moments feel temporary. You might even sabotage things to return to familiar chaos. Sign number 5. The relationship takes up all your mental space. You can't stop thinking about it, analyzing it, replaying conversations. It consumes you. If you recognize yourself in any of these, breathe. You're not broken. Your brain just learned a pattern, and we're going to talk about how to change it. Comment below which sign hit hardest for you. Let's normalize this conversation. Section 6. How to retrain your brain. So how do we actually break free from this? You can't just flip a switch, but you can retrain your brain's reward system. Here's how. Step 1. Name it in real time. When you feel that dopamine surge, that excitement from a breadcrumb text, pause. Say out loud, or in your head, "This is dopamine, not connection." You're creating space between the chemical response and your choice. Step 2. Track the pattern, not the person. Start journaling. When do you feel most attracted? After distance? After conflict? When they're unavailable? You're gathering evidence that this is about the pattern, not the person. Step 3. Redirect your dopamine to healthier sources. Your brain needs novelty and unpredictability, but it doesn't have to come from relationships. Learn a new skill, start a creative project, explore new places. You're teaching your brain that dopamine can come from things that don't hurt you. Step 4. Expect the withdrawal phase. If you leave or go no contact, your brain will push back. You'll have cravings, obsessive thoughts. You'll romanticize the relationship. That's withdrawal. It's not proof you made a mistake. It's proof the pattern was deeply wired. When you're lying in bed at 3 a.m. wanting to text them, tell yourself, "This is withdrawal. This will pass." Step 5. Gradually expose yourself to stability. If stable people feel boring, start small. Can you tolerate coffee with someone who's generous with their words? Can you go on a second date with someone who's genuinely excited to see you? You're retraining your reward system to recognize that trust, safety, and consistency are valuable, even if they don't create dramatic spikes. Over time, stability will start to feel safe and fulfilling instead of dull. Closing. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The intense pull you feel toward toxic relationships, it's not a personal failure. It's your brain's reward system responding to a powerful pattern. And your brain? It can learn new patterns. Understanding this removes the shame. Every time you recognize the trap, you're weakening its hold. So the next time you find yourself craving someone who keeps you guessing, pause and ask, "Is this connection, or is this my brain chasing a dopamine hit?" That awareness alone is the beginning of change. If this video helped you see yourself more clearly, do me a favor. Hit subscribe. We're building a community here at Peaceful Mind Project where we heal together, one peaceful step at a time. And drop a comment below. What's one pattern you're ready to break? Let's support each other. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.